Okay, everybody, welcome to the live stream. We are talking about Delta SkyMiles today. Now, live streaming is kind of a new thing for us. We're launching this channel, and I've gotten a lot of questions about Delta SkyMiles recently. So I wanted to give an opportunity to give my readers a little bit of time to ask some questions. So we're going to have a live chat. I'll be looking at the chat during the live stream today, answering any questions you have about Delta SkyMiles. But I wanted to give an overview of the program, how I use Delta SkyMiles, some of the sweet spots of the program. And really, I'm doing this because Delta currently has a number of elevated credit card welcome bonuses out in which they're giving 50% more miles than they usually do for new credit card signups. So I wanted to get this out there so that you could be informed about this program if you decide to go for one of those bonuses. Literally 30 minutes before this live stream, I got word that those bonuses are going to be ending tomorrow, August 2nd, at the end of the day. So if you are thinking about getting one of those bonuses, you want to hop on it soon. And there's a link in the description to my site where I outline all of the bonuses and have my referral links. If you use those, it helps to support this type of content that I create. So let's begin. What we're going to cover today is generally what SkyMiles is, why SkyMiles may or may not be relevant to you, what SkyMiles is good for as a rewards program, an overview of the SkyMiles credit cards, how to use some of the top line benefits, and how to use them to decrease the cost of your travel. My personal favorites about the SkyMiles program, some tips and tricks, and then we'll answer some of your questions. I have some questions from some of my readers that I've gotten over the last week, and then I'll be popping into the chat to answer any questions that you have live. So let's get started. But before we do, since this is YouTube, I've got to say like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see content like this, please subscribe to the Cards and Points channel. Cardsandpoints.com is the blog, so go there if you are joining us on YouTube and haven't checked that out yet. So what is Delta SkyMiles? Really quick, Delta SkyMiles is the frequent flyer program of Delta Airlines. And it's really a program, it's really a program that you can use for domestic flying on Delta Airlines. It's easy to use. Points are usable for bookings on the Delta website, and you can pretty easily get decent value a lot of the time out of this program. And it might not be relevant, so it's a good program for people who want U.S. domestic coach travel. So how should you decide if SkyMiles is relevant to you? I generally like to think of people kind of in two camps. And you can think about that as either you use Delta or you don't. So if your normal travel patterns have you booking flights on Delta Airlines, maybe you are in a Delta hub, maybe you fly to destinations that are well served by Delta, maybe you fly Delta for work, or maybe just you in the last couple of years, you found that a lot of trips have been on Delta. Delta SkyMiles will work pretty well for you. If you don't fly Delta often, or if you buy tickets based primarily on price and you find yourself booking on United or American some of the time and never really sticking to one carrier, and in every case that one carrier that you stick to is not Delta, you might want to look at using credit cards rewards programs that offer cash back or transferable points like Chase Ultimate Rewards or Citi Thank You Points as an alternative to using Delta SkyMiles, because you're going to get more value out of those types of programs. And then the third thing that I want to mention, and if you're considering if Delta is a good program for you or not, is what types of awards are you going for? Delta is really, really good at domestic U.S. coach travel. They are fairly good at international coach travel when they are offering a fare sale. But if you're looking at trying to get those aspirational business class, first class international flights that you see some influencers talking about, Delta is not the program for you. And we'll get into a little bit of why later. So I'm going to switch over to my web browser, and we're going to talk a little bit about Delta and SkyMiles. So what are the things that I really like about SkyMiles? So I really like the fact that SkyMiles awards are very flexible. And this isn't something that a lot of bloggers are talking about when they talk about booking points with miles. But I find that for my travel, being able to change or cancel most non-main cabin awards gives me a lot of flexibility and a lot of value. SkyMiles for me are really easy to earn the miles. You can earn them through SkyMiles credit card welcome bonuses. I also transfer a lot of miles from Amex membership rewards into the SkyMiles program. So I am never at a shortage of SkyMiles for any travel that I want to book. I really like their flash sales. So you may have seen my recent post about the flash sales that they were running to Australia and New Zealand, Mexico, and the Caribbean. Sometimes Delta offers some incredible value miles tickets. In the last year, I booked Australia for, I think, 60,000 miles round trip in coach. I recently booked a trip to Mexico for, I think, 23,000 miles in coach in main cabin. So there's some great value to be found, but it's usually for domestic coach travel and for international coach travel where they are selling fare sales. So if you are willing to spend the money on lounges, Delta has the best lounges of any U.S. airline, hands down. The Sky Club here in Minneapolis that they just opened is fantastic. The food and drink selection is wonderful, and it's a really great place to go to get free food and drinks at the airport while you're waiting or connecting on your flight. And the last thing I want to say about the things that I like about SkyMiles is that SkyMiles don't expire. Your miles are with you as long as you are with you, and that is a really nice contrast to some programs like Avianca Life Miles, where if you're not having activity in your account every single year, you can lose out on any miles that you have accumulated. So let's talk about how to get Delta SkyMiles. And you can get Delta SkyMiles by flying with Delta. They have a couple of portals where you can get SkyMiles through shopping. But most people watching this stream are probably going to earn most of their miles by finding credit card welcome bonuses that give you a bonus number of miles after you spend a certain amount of money within a few months of opening the card. And Delta has one transfer partner, that's American Express Membership Rewards. So you can get Delta SkyMiles by opening Delta's credit cards directly, or you can get Delta SkyMiles by opening American Express Membership Rewards credit cards and then transferring those miles into your SkyMiles account. Now, the Delta credit card, so I'm going to just talk about the Delta credit cards in this live stream. You can go to cardsandpoints.com and find more information on membership rewards cards. And so for the Delta credit cards, there are 7 Delta credit cards, business and personal credit cards, and there's 3 levels of the business and personal credit cards. So there's the gold, the platinum, and the reserve, and then on the personal side, the 7th card is a no annual fee card that they call the blue card. So there's a lot of benefits for each one of these cards, but generally, actually, let's just pull this up. But generally, the Delta SkyMiles Gold Business and Personal cards are going to have a $99 annual fee, but the first year fee is $0. It's waived the first year. You get a free check bag for you and everyone in your reservation when you book your flights with the card, and you can get a $100 Delta voucher after you spend $10,000 in the card within a year. They also offer the Platinum card, which has a $250 annual fee, comes with the check bag benefit, but really the biggest benefit of this card is a $250 companion certificate that you can use for domestic U.S. coach travel. You can bring one person with you for essentially just the taxes and fees. And then on the high end, they have the reserve cards, and these are the cards that offer lounge access to the Delta Sky Club when you are traveling on Delta Airlines. It also offers access to the American Express Centurion lounges. It offers a companion certificate that can be used for domestic first class, and it offers a free checked bag benefit. Now, all these cards offer the Delta Take 15 off benefit, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but that's essentially a gift. That's essentially a discount on in-flight. That's essentially a discount on award ticket purchases that you make with your SkyMiles. All of these cards offer in-flight purchase discounts. And yeah, that's the overview of them. So the way I like to think about these cards is I don't use these cards for ongoing spending. I am buying a package of benefits. So in my case, I pay $250 a year for the Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express card, and that gets me a companion certificate and free bags for traveling companions when I am traveling with multiple people. Now, one aspect of the cards that I get asked about all the time is, should I use this card for ongoing spending? And I know a lot of people who will use their Delta credit cards for ongoing spending, and everything gets charged to the credit card. But this actually isn't a great idea, because if you think about Delta SkyMile, you're earning Delta SkyMiles instead of cash. And if you think about Delta SkyMiles as a credit that can be used toward travel on Delta Airlines, you should think about them as being worth maybe 1.2 to 1.5 cents each for travel on Delta. Now, 1.5 cents of travel on Delta is worth decidedly less than 1.5 cents of cash, because Delta credit is less flexible than cash. So would you rather earn 1 Delta mile, or would you rather earn 2% cash back on your general purchases? And if you think about it that way, of course, you'd rather earn 2% cash back on every purchase rather than earning 1 Delta mile. So you probably shouldn't be using your Delta credit card for your day-to-day purchases. And even on the cards that earn more rewards, even on the cards that earn more rewards in categories like hotels, like restaurants, it doesn't often make sense to use the Delta card for those purchases, because you can get better rewards back as cash on other credit cards. So the bottom line here is, usually you can find another credit card that is better than your SkyMiles credit card for your ongoing spending. The companion certificate. Like I said, I get the companion certificate from the Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express. This is the reason why I have this card. And really, I think about this as I'm buying a companion certificate for $250. Now, the trick to using this companion certificate is that you can only use it on the discounted fare classes, but it's pretty easy to use, and I'll show you how to search for it. So, let's say you wanted to go from Minneapolis to Las Vegas on September 22nd to September 25th. You put in your flight search here. You don't shop with miles. You click on advanced search, and then you come down here to use certificates, e-credits, or Delta gift cards. You click on that, and if you have a Delta companion certificate from one of the credit cards, that will show up. You'll select your companion certificate, and then you'll see only the flights where you can use your companion certificate. So you're not going back and forth and looking up flights and maybe finding stuff that doesn't apply to your companion certificate benefit. And of course, you would want to book for 2 passengers. The other thing that, so that's how I use my companion certificate, and I think it's a good buy, because I generally get a extra companion on a flight that cost me $350 to $400 every year when I use that. So I'm up $150. So let's talk about finding good deals using Delta SkyMiles. The biggest way to find really good deals on Delta SkyMiles is through Delta's flash sales. And you can find the Delta flash sales. I recently did a feature about the flash sales that they recently released to Mexico and the Caribbean. But there's a link on there to the current SkyMiles deals. And you can select your city, and you can see what deals they currently have on offer. And some of these are really good prices. I mean, 17,000 miles round trip in main cabin to Kansas City, to Tampa, 20,000 miles to Orlando. And these are all bookable online. Now, these are good deals. They look like good deals. But what you need to remember about Delta SkyMiles is that the cost in terms of award miles is tied to the cash price of the ticket. So if you look at these same flights on Google Flights, like let's just look at Minneapolis to Las Vegas, for example, you will find that the prices of Delta flights, let's just see what's going on at the end of September. You'll find that the prices of the Delta flights are often pretty cheap. So let's just look for Delta only. And the calendar view. Yeah, so for most of September, you can get a flight from $118 on Delta Airlines if you paid cash. So if you're looking at the flash sales on Delta, also look at the revenue prices, because you can sometimes get a little bit more flexibility by booking cash or by booking with miles, depending on what you need. So now if you go that means that if you go the other way, you can often find good fare sales in terms of SkyMiles by looking at what is available for cash. So if you go to Google Flights, you can click on this Explore button to bring up their Explore view. And let's just say Minneapolis to, well, travel flights. How do I do this? Oh, let's just start over. Okay, so if you start looking for travel on Google Travel and you hit Explore and put in your city of origin, you can see a map of all of the different destinations and the lowest price for example, a 1-week trip in the next 6 months. You can filter this a little bit. If you go down here and you say airlines and select SkyTeam, that's going to show you all of the SkyTeam carriers, which in the United States is just Delta. And this can show you where it is cheap to fly to. So let's say we wanted to, okay, Denver looks pretty attractive. We can find cheap flights in terms of cash to Denver by looking at the calendar view here. And if we search for those same flights on delta.com, we are very likely to come up with a lower price in terms of SkyMiles. So that's one way that you can find some of these airfare sales, even when they're not published on delta.com or on any of the flight deal blogs that you might follow. Now, that's how you can find some good deals. But what are some fun tips and tricks that I use to get a little bit more value out of my SkyMiles? The first thing that I do is I avoid basic economy. Basic economy is a ticket that the major airlines launched to compete with low-cost carriers like Spirit, and it strips out any of the niceties that full-service airlines provide. So often with basic economy tickets, you cannot select your seat, you can't check bags, you get to board last, you don't get any frequent flyer mile credit, and you cannot change or cancel them. And usually basic economy tickets are just a few dollars more cheaper than main cabin. So this isn't a terribly great example because main cabin is substantially more expensive. But for a small upgrade in cost, usually you're getting the ability to select your seats, you're getting the ability to use your elite benefits if you have them, you're getting the ability to change or cancel your flight. And it's that last thing that I really love to do with SkyMiles award tickets, because you can, when you change or cancel your award ticket, the miles go back into your account. And that means that you have this credit pool that you can draw from perpetually, and you can make speculative bookings. So when I am looking at going to someplace, often I will book several SkyMiles tickets on the way out and several SkyMiles tickets on the way back. And then as I get closer and firm up plans, I will cancel the ones that I don't want, and then those SkyMiles can go straight back into my account, and I can use them for another ticket. Now, you can cancel SkyMiles tickets and redeposit them for free if you are traveling within the domestic U.S., including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. You can do this if you are traveling internationally and the ticket is originating in the US. And you can do this, you can redeposit miles for free if you have platinum status or higher. And all of this is in the SkyMiles program rules. You can read about this for yourself if you want to. There's a link. There will be a link down in the description when the video goes live. Now, another thing that I like to do with Delta SkyMiles is I like to use the same-day standby benefit. So Delta recently made, or a couple of years ago now, made same-day standby free for any passenger. So how does this work in practice? Let's take a look at Minneapolis to Seattle on August 17th. For one passenger. And we're going to shop with miles. And we're going to say forget about basic economy. Okay, so on August 17th, so I'm flying from Minneapolis to Seattle on August 17th. Now let's say the flight that I really wanted was this 4:25 mid-afternoon flight. That's going to work out best for me. That's going to be ideal. Well, that flight costs 26,300 SkyMiles, whereas the 9:40 p.m. flight costs 23,800 SkyMiles. Well, using the same day standby benefit, I can actually book this 9:40 p.m. flight, and then when I get to the airport, I can wait list for this 4:25 p.m. flight, and if there are seats on that flight, I can get on that flight and get to my destination earlier. Now, I'll save some SkyMiles. This does require having a little bit of flexibility because there's a chance that you won't get on that earlier flight if you do use same-day standby, but you can... if there's a flight that you want to get on that's substantially more expensive earlier in the day, that is one of the ways that you can use this benefit on Delta to make your travel a little bit cheaper. And then the last thing that I want to say about SkyMiles changeability is that because you can freely redeposit your miles in a lot of the cases where you'll be traveling, if the price drops, you can actually get the price drop refunded to your SkyMiles account. So like, let's say I booked this ticket for 23,800 SkyMiles, and in a week it drops down to 22,000 SkyMiles. I can go back into delta.com, rebook the ticket, and get that 1,800 SkyMiles deposited back into my SkyMiles account. So that's a fun perk of having awards that are changeable and redepositable. So those are the things that I really like about SkyMiles, kind of how I use the credit cards. I don't see many questions in the chat right now, but I wanted to address some reader questions before the end of the stream. But if you have any questions right now, put them into the chat, and if any questions pop up, I'll go ahead and address those. The first question that I had was, can I transfer Delta SkyMiles to another airline? Now, this question probably comes from seeing people use miles to book tickets on another airline. So Delta has many partners, for example, KLM and Air France. And you can use Delta SkyMiles to book a ticket on KLM or Air France because they have a partnership with Delta, but you cannot transfer your Delta SkyMiles to those airlines. You have to book the flight on those airlines through delta.com, and it needs to be ticketed by Delta. So you can't, and that other airline programs, hotel programs, generally you can't transfer the points anywhere else. With a few exceptions, you have to use them through that airline, but you can use them to book a flight on a different airline. Second question, can I book a ticket for someone else with your SkyMiles? Yes, you absolutely can. You can book a ticket for someone else when you're traveling with them. You can book a ticket for someone else if you're not traveling with them. And the nice thing about booking a ticket for someone else using SkyMiles is your elite status benefits will apply to redepositing that ticket if you need to. So I have platinum status on Delta, which means that I can cancel and redeposit pretty much any non-basic economy ticket worldwide anytime before ticketing, or anytime before the flight leaves. And so if I am booking SkyMiles trips, the people that I'm booking them for get a little bit of additional flexibility on that. And then, of course, with the companion certificate, you're booking a flight for someone else anyway, so obviously you can do that. Another thing about the companion certificate is that it is transferable, so you can use your companion certificate to book a flight for 2 people traveling together who are not you, as long as you're the one who is booking it and you use your Delta SkyMiles credit card. Had a few questions about pursuing elite status with Delta Airlines. And this is something that may or may not be useful to you. It's probably more useful to you if you travel for business or you have a reason to travel with Delta Airlines several times a year. Elite status can get you perks like additional earnings when you fly with Delta Airlines. You get a free checked bag benefit, but then again, you get that from a credit card anyway. You can get complimentary upgrades to Comfort Plus or first class on U.S. domestic flights. You get higher priority when they're handling your calls in the call center. If you travel often, it can be worth it to go after elite status. I'll have an article coming up on that in the next couple of weeks. And once I get that done, I'll post the link down below. And then what airlines does Delta partner with? So Delta is a member of SkyTeam, and SkyTeam is one of the global airline alliances. And SkyTeam has a bunch of partners worldwide, so you can see on the screen here, Aeromexico, Air France, Korean Air, KLM, ITA Airways. All of these airlines are partnered together. Generally, you can book flights using Delta SkyMiles, or you can book flights involving Delta plus these partners. Usually when you're traveling internationally, that's when they're going to come into play. So I'm going to check the chat really quickly, and it doesn't look like we have any more questions on the live stream today. So I want to thank you for watching. I'll watch the comments on this video over the next couple of days. So if you have any additional questions about Delta SkyMiles, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. If you thought this was interesting, please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Safe travels.